Art is hard, but it's not impossible. That's it. That's the video. No, for real. Art is not for the weak. If you thought you could buy a little $30 sketchbook and Japanese pencil and remake all of Vagabond, you need to wake up. You are not Da Vinci. You're a beginner. And there's some points I'd like to go over with you about this time frame you'll be spending or have been spending as a beginner artist from a beginner artist. Because as endowed as popular art creators are, they've already passed the pearly gates. Hi, I'm Ray or Rain. I started drawing consistently a year ago. I stream, I love mangas, and I love RPGs. My goal is to be able to make breathtaking illustrations similar to the likes of artists like Yoshitaka Amano, Jita Arts, Kazuya Takahashi, and many other artists. But for now, I'm just a self-learning beginner artist interested in sharing my journey with you. Now, pause for a moment and think about your art motivators and goals. Almost done? The reason I asked you this is because this should be what you refer back to whenever you're asking yourself why you're dealing with the stress that art will undoubtedly put you in. If you don't have a why for pursuing art, you won't remain dedicated to it. So when weeks have passed and you're not progressing at the rate you want to and you're ready to give up, think about all the art go-to you love that you would let down. Pick your pencil back up. Speaking of that progression, learning to level up in art is arguably the hardest part to me, especially if you're learning based off of YouTube. Without a guide, instructor, it's hard to know when you're experienced enough in a study to move on. And even then, you have to constantly touch on every other aspect of art. Every professional has their own method, their own book, or course. Coming from a fellow noob that has done the rounds, you do want to touch on the foundations first, and then mix in a little bit of everything. But Ray, everyone says focus on foundations. This isn't structured. How will I grow? Listen. You're gonna have to learn to draw a decent box, cylinder, line, and sphere or circle. This is because everything is comprised of shapes. The underlying blueprint of your favorite art pieces is shapes. Those artists just learn to construct through them faster. Try a course or YouTube video here and there, then try creating shapes from objects or humans you find in real life, or on the best website in existence, Pinterest. And when you've grown more comfortable with that, begin to dabble in gesture. Set a 2-3 minute timer and try recreating flashy human poses using those fundamental shapes. When I started, these two things helped me build a strong enough foundation to allow me to dive into other more focused studies. Color theory, shadows, anatomy, blah blah blah, all the confusing stuff. There's no shortcuts for the foundations. Invest in them early so you don't end up like me, a year in giving characters wobbly chins. While we're here, stay away from scratchy chicken scratch lines. I do it. Sometimes I hate it, sometimes I love it, but I've been caught in its loop, and trying to clean those lines up before coloring a picture always gives me a headache. And I promise you, it's a harder habit to break than it is to avoid in the first place. So stop doing it, slow down, and think before you put the pencil down on the paper. I promise it makes the process of drawing 10 times easier. And do not touch those advanced books yet. Loomis, Bridgman, yada yada. Seep in some art first before you try to tackle those art books, because their purpose is to shape you on correct forms and how to create your own rules based off the human body. It is very confusing for beginner content. If you really need a quick fix for some art education, or a long-term one, check out Mark Brunet and David Finch. Two very amazing, very reputable artists that have blessed YouTube with their knowledge. Anyone I ever talked to about art study and mentors I've had have all mentioned Mark, and for good reasons. He's an amazing resource for complete beginners as well as seasoned artists, and I don't even have his course. I'm poor. Sir Finch, on the other hand, is very technical and provides a more universal guide to constructing figures. He's like a textbook without the snooze fest. There are so many amazing creators out there. I honestly think if you just start with these two, YouTube Recommended will do the rest of the work for you and give you all the resources you need to stay on your cute little art toes. Just make sure you keep drawing. People say it's okay to take breaks when you're exhausted, but as messed up as this sounds, I completely disagree. What you're tired of is not creating the best quality or not reaching enough people with your art, so you take mental breaks. This mindset is your downfall. Art doesn't always have to be a second job. It's a form of expression. Seriously, you don't need to do full 10-hour sessions to enjoy art. Spend 10 to 15 minutes before bed when you wake up, when you're traveling, anywhere, to just sketch a little of what's on your mind or experiment. Like recently, my portraits have been terrible in my eyes, but I haven't just quit. I'm sketching in the train, at work, in my free time, because I've learned to enjoy the process of learning. And I just picked up watercolor. I suck at painting, but seeing the finished product is so funny to me that it's worth it. Don't test yourself for every single piece of art you make, because the reality is we suck and we will continue to suck for a very long time. But it's going to make that golden piece that you create months down the line feel 10 times better because you worked to earn it. I definitely thought that art was a talent at one point in my life, and as a beginner, you're probably thinking the same thing. Oh, Mark, Sam, Willop, I'll never get to the point that they're at. Shut up. Oh! Shut up. Because when you look back at how far you'll have come in a year from now, you'll realize that you can attribute all of their feats to hard work that you can replicate yourself with the resources available to you that they didn't have 10, 15, 20 years ago. One last important point for my fellow art babies is that you should not be doing this alone. It's very hard to be self-critical because we don't see or understand our mistakes or why we make them. Join an art Discord or post on an art criticism Reddit thread. This is something I wish I did from day one that I didn't do enough in 2023. But whenever I did post my art for constructive criticism, I was able to get a clear idea and feedback on things I should study and touch on, providing that sense of structure and security that we all would love in our lives. And with that, I've shared everything I can immediately think of to help you navigate the mountain that is starting your art career. All I ask is that you keep drawing. Your efficiency and quality will increase with every study, and soon you'll be the artist you've always wanted to be. And hopefully, I'll have inspired at least one person to start drawing today and another to keep drawing. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and share some ideas in the comments of what you think I should talk about or do next on this channel. I think I'll end up making a video about my favorite self-study resources or speed paint thought process things so you can see why I make the terrible decisions I do with my art. Either way, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you get drawing today. Good luck.